Okay. Matt's going to get triggered. Yep. Matt's going to get triggered because that is the Emerald Dream. That implies more Elune lore. I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, be very, very careful with Elune lore, please. This is not a threat. This is a personal request. Please be very careful with it, and please do it the justice that the how do I describe them? The scrolls in the Tauren Druid hut. If the vibe that those give aren't what you do with Elune, I will be very, very personally upset.
Yep. And remember how many people he convinced to play Final Fantasy XIV. He's dangerous. You can't fuck with him. So there's a new updated Emerald Dream map that has been put in here, which is kind of interesting, but it is apparently the same map as used in one of the 8.2 scenarios where Ysera's daughter, Merithra, had the player go in to reform emerald shards into a dragon scale to further empower the Heart of Azeroth. And I think it was at that point that the Void stuff started happening within there, and I think the implication is that was payoff to the little seed of Void that we ended up depositing in there at the very start of Legion.
I still have the grey item from that quest in my bank.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yep.
So who knows? We'll go back there. Ysera did say that it could be possible for her to return. But basically, it would have to be from some sort of gift from Elune or something. Yeah. But it's technically possible. That said, you can't kill her in Shadowlands and then bring her back in Dragonflight.
Legion. She died in Legion.
Oh, yeah. I guess she continued to be dead. Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, I suppose it's the sort of thing where we save her wild seed and she's canonically dead and in the Shadowlands. Then I suppose if you bring her back the next expansion, does that feel a little bit too long?
Yeah, no, they basically...
Sorry, a little bit too short?
Yeah, they can't bring her back.
Yeah.
That would be because obviously Shadowlands was bad enough for kind of undermining everyone's emotional experience, but you can just close your eyes and pretend the Shadowlands didn't happen.
Yes.
You can theoretically do that, especially if you didn't play Shadowlands because you played Legion then came back for Dragonflight or something. But I think you can conceivably go, okay, fine. It's undermined the logical, rational part of it, but it didn't really do any damage to any emotional stuff. There was no one who suddenly came back for no reason. They didn't completely make existing deaths meaningless. They avoided that fairly effectively. It's a wee bit weird with a couple of the Maldraxian ones, but I think the thing is they can't reverse a death emotionally because that's what Ysera being back would kind of do if she was just back and chilling. Because first of all, the feeling of her being gotten Legion was really powerful to people, right? It was massive. It was a whole big thing. Loads of YouTube videos, people crying over it, stuff like that. And it was actually a pretty strong emotional kind of moment, all things considered. Even if it was a little bit out of nowhere that she was there, but anyway. I had somewhere I was going with that. Where to go? Yeah, the Alexstrasza stuff. Yes. The bit that they added very intentionally later on, where they went, oh, and then we'll go talk to Alexstrasza for the dragon stuff in BFA. Go talk to Alexstrasza about Ysera specifically. Have this little heartfelt, little delivered bit of, oh yeah, she's my sister, we loved each other, etc., etc. You can't undo that. They can bring her back, but they have to bring her back in almost like I was saying with Wizard retirement for Khadgar. It has to be in a, maybe not a sacrificial way, but it has to be in a, you're not alive again. Your spirit now has a different purpose.
Yes.
It has to be, oh, I am the green aspect. I'm the warden of life, whatever. I can't remember what her title was. Being the warden of the dream. I have to live in the Emerald Dream forever and continue my role here as the eternal guardian.
Yeah, it's like, Gratz, you're a Force Ghost.
Yeah, basically. But I'm not alive. I can't go flying around and be like, well, Alex, what's the crack? Any crack these days? You have to fully be like, I am here. If I don't pay attention to the Emerald Dream for 30 seconds, the whole thing collapses. But it's also not like an Atlas carrying the world kind of torture.
Yeah.
It's more no, I have to exist here to kind of, this is a chill job. I like doing it. I'm the janitor of the Emerald Dream. But I kind of have to be. They have to do it that way. And I really hope they do, because bringing her back in any other capacity, it's that would allow for some more emotional payoff, a final goodbye between sisters and stuff. But anything more would just be Ha, death doesn't matter. Fuck you. What's that? You felt emotional that the character died? Haha, it was a joke the whole time. Aren't you fucking laughing? Laughing at you, but yeah. Yeah.
Centaur Arena.
Yep.
What's the deal with the Centaur Arena?
There's a Centaur Arena
There's
party.
a Centaur Arena. So maybe this is just a new PvP arena, but yeah, there is a Datamined map that says 10.0 Centaur Arena, and apparently it's a arena battlefield. So we have to imagine it's an arena. We've also seen a Datamined under construction image, which is this. Certainly does look like PvP to me. There you go. So a new arena. Neat. The next thing then is, did they accidentally leak 10.1? I know we've talked about this before, Matt, but it's definitely an issue worth kind of relitigating. Now that things have settled in, we know a little bit more. Yeah, so, right, this was spotted around another map, and the map was called Internapalooza. Hopefully they're not related, because this says Dragonflight Underground. Warning, must be kept flagged development map until 10.1. So that didn't happen, and now we know that Dragon Isles Underground is a map. Now what this means is that at some point they've worked on a map with that name. Could that mean 10.1 takes place underground? Yes. Could that mean that for a very brief period in time in 10.1 you go underground? Also yes. We don't know. But that being said, the Black Dragons, they're important to the story. We've got Rathian, Sibelian, Abyssian, they're all back, so of course their dad, he will have done things underground, as we even see in the Direct Clear starting zone, so that makes sense for them. Maybe some Galakron bones are somehow underneath there, who the hell knows. Titan tech, look at Tier, it's called friggin' Tierhold, it's named after a Titan keeper, there's Titan-y shit all over the Isles, which thankfully, by the way, is the same design language as Northrend Titan stuff, so it feels very Warcraft, which I'm very glad that it does, but that also could be underground. And then, of course, the Primal Incarnates, there's the Earth one and the Fire one, assuming we deal with maybe the Lightning one and the Water one, what's the other one?
It would be ice water. Yeah.
Ice, yes. So, yeah. What do you think? Underground Zone?
Yeah. I think, well, it's weird, right? Because I would very much love them to try to be very, very simple with their storytelling, which to me is Monster of the Week, Primal Elementals, like Elemental Protodrakes, until we're done. And then you can, while we're doing Monster of the Week, you can weave in the actual big plot at the end and go, oh, it was a Murazond or Galakron or something all the whole time. They were involved in doing this. They were the ones behind it. But like, because the first thing we do is, I guess this is mild spoilers for the Dracthyr starting zone, but like you're kind of introduced to some of the villains immediately. They're doing shit, and it's like they're unearthing things, they're reviving things, and kind of bringing them back. Obviously, the whole the Jail of the Primal Incarnates, whatever it's called, I can't remember what the full name is, but like that's going on. So I fully imagine it to be, hey, we're going to the next patch. We're going underground. Because think about where you go for a patch zone when you're on the Dragon Isles. You either go for there's another island, but then you're like, why is the whole fucking expansion islands? Which was BFA, quite literally, in more ways than one. Well, I guess Najtar was different enough being underwater, and that felt good. So I imagine they'll go, Dragon Isles, there's shit under the Dragon Isles. Because Neltharion was the Earth. Obviously, there's going to be more in there. There's loads and loads of room for that. But then I think it would just make sense to go, here's the Earth one now. Here's the Fire one now. Because they're characterizing the Storm Eater, Roskazeth, and Karagrim Totems. You could see, like, whatever they start continues even after we're done. You could even see a 10.0 ending being, we've started off the chain of events. The two downstairs are waking up. You have to go sort them out.
I think I know. Well, I don't want to say I think I know.
Yeah.
I have an idea. I think that the resurrection of Galakron is going to be the end game of the Incarnates, because we know that they basically kind of worshipped Galakron. They're worshippers of Galakron, right? Like, they're all in Team Galakron. Now, there is something in the new dungeon which very much, it's suggesting that the Infinites are involved. We know the Infinites, they obviously don't like the Dragonflights, right? So they're, I think, naturally in the side of the Incarnates. So what if you end up having a situation where, like, think of the things. You've got the Incarnates, you've got the Infinites, you've got Galakron. Okay, 10.0, 10.1, advance A plot. do exactly what you said with the Incarnates.
Mm-hmm.
We defeat them, but it just does actually have to happen often in an MMO story. The Infinites do their thing, and maybe we end up with a Morrizond Galacrond, or a Galacrond Morrizond, or something.
Yeah, that's what
Blizzard said we'd have a fair idea of the end boss, though. They said we'd have a fair idea what the end of the expansion boss will be after 10.0.
Yeah, so that's what I expect. I expect us to figure out at least most of what's going on, or some of what's going on, by the end of 10.0, because we kind of, I guess it's a little bit of the trope, but we know the boss is Razgazet? I can't remember how it's spelled, but the Storm Eater, the air and lightning aspected primal incarnate, the one that we see resurrected, the Dracthyr stuff. So I can very much see that being like, hey, we've kicked the shit out of you. You're going to tell us what we need to know. And then because end bosses in World of Warcraft are often very upfront and sometimes quite stupid, it'll be like in the dying breath, it'll go, no, said blah, 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 blah. Not like this. Morrizond will have your head. Or kind of, no, give me one more try, or something, which would highlight the kind of the idea of, hey, this boss is about to go down. Has this happened before? Has Morrizond tried this in another timeline that the Primal's aware of because they're allied? Something like that, maybe a little bit like that, because there is time stuff going on in the Dracthyr starting zone as well as blue stuff. So there's a little bit of blue and bronze together bad possibly going on.
That's honestly, it's really neat.
It's
the dragon stuff's all like really fun so far from what I've played.
Yep.